This is not going to be a popular video, so it's okay. You can stop at any time, because what I'm going to say is not going to land well in most people, and I accept that. But I want to talk about the truth, although the words will never capture what the truth is. But there are still a lot of interesting points. There's a lot of liberation can happen through understanding, and words can help. So I hope this video, if you're honest, because this will only be considered by honest people who are honest in their heart, looking for the truth. Only then this video will make sense. For most people, I imagine 90 something percent, it's not going to make any sense what I'm about to say. So I made a video a couple of weeks ago explaining how the outside world is not as real as we think. And interestingly enough, this is a mainstream idea where many people think that we found another way through analogies like the simulation, matrix. We just find solipsism, basically. We find another way of sustaining our separated self, our ego, by thinking, yeah, the rest of the world isn't real, and me, I am real. But that can only be sustained if you're not observing yourself. So your inner world, what most people would consider anything under your skin, your emotions, your thoughts, all that, it is also part of the simulation, matrix, call it whatever. And everything is you. So in that sense, the part of you that you think you are is also part of the illusion. And that's why we suffer, because we are identifying ourselves with something that is just not true. As if you were identifying with the character in the movie you're watching. And we suffer with the character, but first thing, you cannot do anything about it. Second, it's an illusion. Is that what a movie is? It's an illusion. And it can be very entertaining, and it's to be enjoyed. So I'm not denying the world in the sense of go to a cave and ignore the world. On the contrary, interact, flow with it. Get in contact with whatever it is around you, maybe people, maybe things. So it's not a way of saying, shutting down and saying the world is not real, so I'm not going to take it. No. Okay, that's a starting point on the conversation, but where things really turn into an actual experience is when you start considering that the sensations you're having right now in your body are part of the matrix, are part of the simulation. And your emotions, which are felt in your body with chemistry, with different ways. That's when you feel, when you have fear, when you're sad. It's all a physical sensation, pretty much. Subtle, but still, you can easily pinpoint, oh, I feel like this. I have this emotion. There's always this physical anchoring to that emotion. So that is also part of the movie. And this should be liberating. If you are open enough to consider this, of course, if you, some people who is actually defensive and still hurting very much will probably find this very aggressive towards your own self. But that's not the truth, because what you are is still the same, whatever we say, whatever we do, whatever we consider, still the same. So don't worry. Just by observing your body and your emotions, and just by detaching from them, you're not going to lose them, and you're definitely not going to lose your reality. So if you keep exploring your body sensations, you keep exploring little by little, monitoring what we call the inside in a body, with your mind, with your story, being a character in the movie, doing the things, little by little, you're going to discover that everything is fleeting. Nothing has consistency. You could say, I'm feeling sad, And the question would be, okay, and when you were feeling differently before, and that emotion is gonna run out at some point, and when that emotion runs out, then are you sad or not? You're obviously not. If you've ever been different than sad, it means that you're neither. You're neither sad, you're neither the other. You're something else. It's just that we identify ourselves with the emotion, and we say, I'm sad, I'm happy, I am. That's just identification, and it goes away. And that's what you notice when you're actually looking for it. Most people are not looking to it. Most people are only reacting to it. And that's when life becomes a trap and becomes suffering. Every single time you are suffering is because you are trapped in why some Eastern cultures will call Maya, the illusion, the fundamental confusion about what you are. And you say, okay, how you disentangle that? Well, not just by thinking that the external world is illusory, but the moment where things are, or these pointers will be really freeing yourself, will be transformative, is the moment where you actually realize that you don't need to be that person you think you are. All that, where you're from, what do you do in your life, all these traits you think you have, all that, your name, if you belong to a culture or you belong to all that, how your body is, things you did in the past, so I am this because I always do this, so this is me, I am this. All this logic, that is the character. That is part of the illusion. And all this illusion, of course, there is something real. Otherwise, how could you have an illusion if there is not something real behind it? Same way that, again, when you're watching a movie, there's a TV that is there creating the movie. So in the same sense, when we say the world and yourself, like your personal experience is not real, it doesn't mean that there is nothing that is real. It may be confusing because maybe so far you never really come to pay attention to anything beyond your sensory data or anything beyond your thoughts. In that sense, it may feel disorienting at first to consider these ideas. But hopefully you stick around with these explorations. And for example, when you take a nap, you're just letting yourself go. Every night, everybody falls asleep and dissolves the identification with their body, mostly. So it's a very interesting thing to consider that you actually do it naturally. It's just that you don't notice that you're doing it. So as much as crazy as this may seem, when you're falling asleep, you're letting go of that person that you are externally. And you're just falling into, some people will say nothingness, but I like the word emptiness from Buddhism because it's just a negation. Nothingness is like as if there was nothing real. Empty, it is just, well, it's another negation. But if you go to Buddhism, you're going to find how rich it is. It's not empty in the sense that there is nothing. It's empty in the sense of potential, because that which is not taking a specific shape or form, that can be anything, or the Tao. So in that sense, once you start dissolving your identification with what you think you are in terms of a person, with your body and your mind, as you start just letting that go, and this is something you do unconsciously because it's what you are. So we're not talking about any process. You have to be calm, or no, it happens to you already. It's just that we don't notice because we are too stressed and too locked in our old character thing. But if you will be able to trust and relax and just let everything dissolve, like you let everything go when you fall asleep, you will just find that actually you're still there, even when your mind shuts down, even when you don't feel your body anymore. You're still there. It's like that part of you that some of you may find in a lucid dream. There's something that oh yeah, you're still there even when you're in a different world thinking you're a different thing. And yet, you are, and you are not the character you're dreaming in the dream, right? When you wake up in the morning, you realize that you thought you were someone else or some different person doing something different. And suddenly when you wake up, you realize, oh, that wasn't me. So in the same way, I'm not suggesting that you wake up in a different body. I'm suggesting you wake up here, like you become lucid in a dream. In the sense that you just, as you give away your value to this, you're buying into the story of your own character in this, the story of what you're living. As you let go of that identification with your own thoughts in the story, with your own emotions and your own past in the story, at that point, something else start appearing. And that thing you could describe as presence or awareness. It is just your default. It's not something you need to cultivate or have more presence or have more awareness. You cannot increase it or create it in any way. You're not going to make it better. There's nothing in an enlightened being, in Jesus Christ, in Buddha, or anyone who is not the same as you. You are them. And deep inside, you know this. I'm just here having a conversation and hoping that you remember that you never left, you never moved, you never been anywhere. You are always just being. And all that past and all this future is just your mind active. When you are able to let go, let the thoughts come and go, just stay with what is. You will start noticing that as your mind starts thinking in the past and the future, you feel yourself right now, right here, right? If you stop now pumping your thoughts, suddenly you find yourself closer into here and now. But that's still the sensory realm. You still haven't you can't go deep enough. There can be way deeper freedom. And that is done by just stay there, and you will realize that even your experience, not just your sensory external experience of the world, no, your experience of what you think you are is also unstable. And don't panic, because nothing's going to happen. Don't start thinking about, oh, I'm not real and I don't exist. So no. Don't think. That's thinking again. You're still in the game. Being lucid, being wakeful means that you just are. There's just light of understanding, of presence, of knowing. You just know. You cannot think. You know. When you think, you don't know. Thinking is doubting, actually. Thinking is breaking reality into little pieces. So you don't need to think. And you don't even stop thinking or escape the simulation. It's not real. How are you going to escape something that is not real? You just have to trust and do, as I'm suggesting, there are certain explorations that you can do if you want to do. That's why we call it meditation. It looks like you're doing something, but when you're meditating, you're not doing something, actually. You're doing less. That's what we call meditation. It's doing that is less. And if you let it guide you, you will recover a sense of presence, of aliveness. And you will automatically will realize that you are, that you're here, that you're now. And not even that. There is no here and there is no now. It's just another idea. But for that, you need to also transcend your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings. That way, you just consider them impersonal, just as an experiment. And you see that nothing happens. You're not going to die. You're not going to stop being functional. You're going to end up not caring about anything. No, on the contrary, you're going to find yourself utterly relaxed and easygoing. And you're going to start feeling first probably just peaceful and restfulness. You may even fall asleep a lot when you try this. But just go beyond that and notice how your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, everything is just moving and changing, moving and changing, moving and changing. That cannot be real. Your thoughts come and go. If it changes, it's not real. Because only something real cannot change, or will not change. Only something unreal appears and disappears. It's like an illusion. So just by testing yourself, going back to the source of your being here and now, you will transcend the here and now of the sensory experience of the person. And you will start noticing how the sense of what you are start going deeper and start diluting your sense of the ordinary separated self. And you don't have to do anything about it. It just happens. You're just letting go of the illusion, because the illusion needs for you to feed it. Otherwise, it cannot be there. But what is real is real anyway. So you don't need to do anything about it. You just need to recognize it by stopping deluding yourself, by actively dropping your attention, your thinking. You don't even need to stop your thinking. You're already not thinking. So it's more just a gesture of opening, a gesture of trust, a gesture of readiness to accept whatever is true is true. It's not something I'm going to convey in words. It's not something you're going to think about it. Whatever it is, it is. You don't need to do anything about it. You need to fix anything. You don't need to become better to understand what I'm saying. You don't need to improve yourself. You may think really bad about yourself. I'm not a good meditator. I don't know. All these things. Okay, yeah, that too is part of the movie. And that's the moment you notice that everything's perfect some way. It's not perfect if you are trapped in your limited thinking, personal experience. But if you let everything just be, everything is complete, always, already. And even when time moves, there's something that is in you that is not moving with time. And it's there always. It was there when you were a little kid. It's there now, and it will be there in any given time in the future. It will be always there, beyond what we think is going to be our death. Whatever it is, it's going to be there because it has been there. What is real, it cannot be changed. It is there. It is permanent. It is real. And that, which certainly goes beyond the sensory experience, although the sensory experience in itself is part of it, but if you are looking for what is the matrix about this, what is this, well, stop relaxing your attention, your gaze from the moving thing. And not only the external world, I'm talking about actually the most important thing to do here is to actually notice that how you can be in the background of what you consider your personal experience and experiment the peace that you are. And when you embrace every experience without moving after it, without chasing, without rejecting, without grasping, you just are. Let everything flow. All the internal experiences, I feel good, I feel bad, I feel this, I feel that, I think this, I think that, all that is just coming and going. And you're just resting in this openness, in this stillness. And you wake up to the realization that you have been always in that infinite space, unbounded space of presence. You just had a transitory experience of thinking that you were limited to a body and a mind. And the more you just let your character unfold freely, without controlling it, without judging it, without judging yourself, like your mind, your body, your emotions, and thinking they should be different. The moment that you allow yourself just to rest in this openness without trying to control anything, the more the evidence of your presence will be permanent, permeate your experience with clarity, with peace. With eternal joy. And only then you know. And not only that has been the case, it will be always the case. Only you can just narrow your perception to the character, maybe a little bit sometimes. But if you really settle in this openness, something cracks in the character and becomes free. And you're free to enjoy life as it is. You're free to let everything be. And only then, pure love is recognized.